For us to actually move forward as a continent, we need to decide whether it's, who knows what Vision 2030 is here? And this is not Kenya's Vision 2030. But who knows what Vision 2030 is here? Anyone? SDGs, yes. And who knows what Vision 2063 is? We have to decide Vision 2030 or Vision 2063. Yeah? As a continent, Vision 2063 is our blueprint, okay? And within that, there are different components. There's the African Union financial institutions underpinned by the Abuja Treaty. There's the Pan-African Parliament. There is building a common position and understanding that architecture that I described at the beginning. In all of that, you as journalists, need to pay close attention to the African Union Commission. Its role in the world is increasing. It is now part of the G20, as you heard in the opening remarks this morning, which means it has a seat at this very influential table. A controversial, very undemocratic, in some cases considered an illegitimate group of countries, because it only represents the interests of the 20 richest countries in the world. But it has a seat on this very influential table. And as journalists, we must support how the African Union engages in that space. Okay, so very, very important. But the future is this. This is the future of debt relief, restructuring, cancellation. It's under a more democratic space, and that is the United Nations. What we are saying as journalists is that we need to start understanding that we need to rewrite the rules and norms of how debt restructuring is done. The common framework, as I've mentioned, is not working. And therefore, as we get to understand more deeply the consequences of the debt situation and how we got there, and how the current ecosystem and architecture only serves the interests of a few countries, then we need to move into a more democratic space where Africa's voice is a lot more louder. And this is the way to do it. So we're talking about setting up a framework convention on sovereign debt under the auspices of the United Nations that has the responsibility for introducing multilateral rules, principles, and structures on dealing with sovereign debt. It has the ability to advocate and advise on domestic reforms, but also regulate the financial system. And I know over the next three days, we will have an opportunity to go deeper into each of these dimensions. But what does this all mean? We have to be rule makers. And your job and responsibility throughout the last 5 Afro-Medis and getting deeper and deeper in understanding and appreciating the debt situation on the continent is to ensure that we call and report and investigate what a new power dispensation looks like for the continent. A new political order that is not profit-driven or private sector-led, but really puts citizens at the heart of everything that we're doing. And then people, that you humanize the story of how debt actually does have and can have a negative impact on citizens if it is not managed properly, if it is not utilized properly. So with that, dear friends, I hope that we've laid the foundation in understanding the debt situation on the continent as it's not just being dollar values, but it being a full ecosystem that has very many actors and players in that system with very different types of interests, and that the complexity through which our global political economy is structured is a major contributor to the reason why we find ourselves in this perpetual cycle of indebtedness, but that there is hope in a future where there's a more democratized way of doing debt governance through the United Nations.